And now I want to welcome back to the program Joseph Scott Morgan, certified death investigator, distinguished scholar at Jacksonville State University, and the best person I can think of to walk me through this. I pick up a report like this, and I read through it, and usually it's very clinical, but this one wasn't, Joe. Like this one, I felt like I was out there on that dusty road in the Panhandle, and I felt like I could almost see it happening just by the way the injuries were coming in at Jillian. So can you walk me through how you saw it and what you envisioned playing out based on these injuries?
Yeah, this is a fantastic example of the dead telling their own tale. I think one of the things that really strikes me here, Ash, is they keep talking about the soiled clothing. And one of the things that we think about relative to soiled clothing is that the surfaces of the clothing have to be in contact with something in order to be soiled. So what I mean by that is that when you particularly talk about Jillian's body here, when you think about her remains, she would be face down in a prone position so that someone could access her in order to traumatize her in the way that she was traumatized. She's got extensive injuries to the back of her neck, to her shoulders, which you've talked about, and even to her face. But how did they get her to that position? How was she placed there? How did she get there? When she was removed, perhaps, from the vehicle, and this is merely me speculating, we have this evidence of these injuries to her hands, which both have been ruled as incised wounds, consistent with defensive wounds. So if we think about a knife, where somebody is doing this action or presenting with it, the individual would reach up and grab the blade and it would be drugged through their hand. And this would incise the surface. And this isn't superficial. This is not a paper cut. We're talking about it goes down to the tendon and the bone and through the musculature prior to that. It would have been very painful. And so my thought is, was she attempting to fight back at this moment in time when she realized what was going on? And then one of two things happened, in my estimation. She was either marched out to the gravesite at that point in time, or when they fell upon her, this kind of an old term about being attacked, fell upon her once she had been cut like this, they had to stun her. That's where you get these marks for the stun gun on the back of the neck.
Can I ask you about that? Can I ask you, because as I was reading this, they said the decomposition was so much so that it was hard to tell if it was stun gun marks or if it was like, liver that had developed all over the body. But they assumed because of the pattern that it was stun gun marks. But it looked to be somewhere between 6 and 8 stun gun marks. Yeah. I mean, did I read wrong? Because that to me sounds like torture.
You're absolutely on target. And if people have never seen a stun gun, it has posts on it, these stainless steel posts. And when they contact the skin, it sends a current through the body. And again, you kind of freeze into this position. There's nothing you can do to defend yourself. And when you get this many, Ash, you get this many of these marks on the body, that borders on the area. It doesn't border. It actually crosses over into the area of torture at this point in time, where she's getting popped over and over and over and over again like this until they get her to submit. And keep in mind, these injuries that she has on her back, and right you were when you said that they don't extend very much further south of her neck. This is a very concentrated area like this. That means that somebody's physically on top of her, hammering away with this knife. Got to the point where if people will just touch the back of their neck right at the base of your skull, that blade entered her skull right there and clipped the brain stem where it controls our autonomic nervous system. So she couldn't have been able to breathe. Her heart would have stopped functioning.
Or move, they said. And God, I hope it was fast.
Me too.
Not fast enough. It will never have been fast enough. So, Joe, I'm going to call you back when they release Veronica Butler's, because my fear is that this is Jilian Kelley. She wasn't even the intended target. There's no animosity to her necessarily, but the target, Grandma Tiffany, if she's the killer, hated this former partner, daughter-in-law. And I am so upset at what the possibilities are for the way she died.
I think Jillian was trying to protect Miss Butler is what I think happened.
Oh, wow. Okay, I hadn't thought of that.
Ferociously.
I thought maybe she I thought maybe she watched it happen and knew it was coming and fought like hell. Either could be true, but I thank you for your, thank you for reading through it and then helping us out through it, Joe.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.